Deep in the heart of ancient Greece, a priestess sat atop a sacred tripod, inhaling vapors rising from the earth. Her words, cryptic and poetic, were believed to come directly from the god Apollo, shaping the decisions of kings, generals, and entire civilizations. This was the Oracle of Delphi, one of the most powerful figures in the ancient world. But what drove people to seek her guidance? Why did they place such faith in the whispers of the divine? Across cultures and centuries, humanity has turned to divination, a practice that bridges the gap between the seen and the unseen, the known and the unknowable. From reading the patterns of stars to interpreting the cracks in animal bones, divination has been a universal quest for answers, a way to navigate the uncertainties of life. In this video, we'll uncover the ancient art of divination, tracing its evolution from sacred rituals to profound revelations. Together, we'll explore how civilizations sought to decode the mysteries of existence and how these practices continue to echo in our modern lives. Are you ready to step into the world of oracles, seers, and ancient wisdom? Let's begin. Long before the rise of great civilizations, humanity's first diviners walked among the shadows of firelight, their eyes fixed on the mysteries of the natural world. These early shamans, often revered as bridges between the physical and spiritual realms, sought to decode the language of the divine. They listened to the whispers of the wind, observed the flight patterns of birds, and studied the movements of animals, believing these signs carried messages from higher powers. In a time when survival depended on understanding the unpredictable rhythms of nature, divination wasn't just a spiritual practice, it was a lifeline. Take, for example, the prehistoric tribes who relied on the stars to guide their movements. The shifting constellations weren't just beautiful patterns in the night sky. They were a celestial map offering clues about the changing seasons. By interpreting these cosmic cues, early humans could predict the best times to plant crops or migrate to new hunting grounds. This connection between divination and survival was especially vital in agricultural societies, where a failed harvest could mean starvation. The ability to foresee the future wasn't just a matter of curiosity, it was a matter of life and death. One of the most fascinating glimpses into these ancient practices comes from the oracle bones of early China. Dating back over 3,000 years, these bones, often the shoulder blades of oxen or turtle shells, were inscribed with questions posed to the gods. Priests would heat the bones until they cracked, then interpret the patterns to reveal divine answers. These artifacts aren't just relics of a bygone era. They're windows into a world where every decision, from war to farming, was guided by the unseen. What's striking about these early forms of divination is how universal they were. From the caves of Europe to the plains of Africa, people everywhere sought to make sense of the unknown by reading the signs around them. Whether it was the rustling of leaves, the behavior of animals, or the alignment of stars, the natural world was seen as a tapestry of symbols, each one waiting to be deciphered. These practices weren't just about predicting the future, they were about understanding humanity's place in the cosmos. As we'll see, these rudimentary methods would evolve into more complex systems, but the core idea remained the same: the belief that the universe speaks to those who know how to listen. And so, from the humble beginnings of shamans and stargazers, the art of divination began its journey, laying the groundwork for the oracles, seers, and mystics who would follow. In the bustling cities of ancient Mesopotamia, where the Tigris and Euphrates rivers carved their paths through the cradle of civilization, divination was not just a spiritual practice, it was a cornerstone of daily life. Here, the art of reading the future was a sophisticated science, practiced by skilled priests who served as vital links between the divine and the mortal. Mesopotamian diviners were masters of observation, meticulously studying the natural world for signs they believed were sent by the gods. Among their most revered tools were the livers of sacrificed animals, particularly sheep, which were thought to hold a sacred connection to the divine will. Known as hepatoscopy, this practice involved examining the shape, color, and texture of an animal's liver to predict outcomes or divine guidance. Every blemish, ridge, or unusual mark was carefully catalogued and interpreted, creating a complex system of omens that could influence everything from personal decisions to the fate of empires. Priests would record their findings on clay tablets, preserving their interpretations for future generations. These records weren't just religious texts, they were the ancient equivalent of strategic intelligence, consulted by kings and rulers before making critical decisions. One of the most remarkable artifacts of Mesopotamian divination is the Enuma Anu Enlil, a vast collection of celestial omens that meticulously documented the movements of the stars, planets, and weather patterns. This text wasn't just a guide to understanding the heavens, it was a blueprint for governance. Kings relied on its insights to determine the best times to plant crops, launch military campaigns, or sign treaties. For example, if an eclipse occurred, it was often seen as a warning of impending disaster, prompting rulers to postpone major decisions or seek divine favor through rituals. Diviners held a position of immense respect in Mesopotamian society, often serving as trusted advisors to the throne. They were seen as the voices of the gods, capable of interpreting divine messages that could alter the course of history. Their influence extended far beyond the temple walls, shaping the political and cultural landscape of the region. When a king faced the decision to go to war, it wasn't just his generals he consulted. It was the diviners whose readings could determine whether the gods favored the campaign. The legacy of Mesopotamian divination didn't end with its civilization. Its practices spread to neighboring cultures, influencing the Greeks, Romans, and even early Hebrews. The meticulous record-keeping of the Mesopotamians laid the foundation for later astrological systems, while their emphasis on interpreting natural signs resonated with diviners across the ancient world. What's fascinating about Mesopotamian divination is how it reflects humanity's enduring desire to find meaning in the unknown. Whether through the intricate study of animal livers or the precise tracking of celestial events, these ancient practitioners sought to bring order to a chaotic world. Their methods may seem distant from our modern lives, but the questions they asked about fate, free will, and the divine are as relevant today as they were thousands of years ago. As we move forward in our exploration of divination, we'll see how these early practices evolved, taking on new forms and meanings in different cultures. From the sacred liver readings of Mesopotamia to the oracles of ancient Greece, the quest to understand the future has always been a deeply human endeavor. And in that quest, we find not just the echoes of the past, but a mirror reflecting our own search for answers in an uncertain world. High on the slopes of Mount Parnassus, overlooking the shimmering Gulf of Corinth, stood the Temple of Apollo at Delphi, a place where the mortal and divine worlds were said to intersect. Here, the Oracle of Delphi, known as the Pythia, held court as the most revered prophetess of the ancient world. For over 1,000 years, kings, philosophers, and everyday seekers journeyed to this sacred site, hoping to receive guidance from the god Apollo himself. But what made the oracle so powerful, and how did a single priestess come to wield such influence over the fate of nations? The rituals of the oracle were as mysterious as the prophecies she delivered. Before each session, the Pythia would purify herself in the sacred Castalian spring, then descend into the inner sanctum of the temple. There, seated on a golden tripod above a fissure in the earth, she would inhale vapors rising from the ground, entering a trance-like state. In this altered consciousness, she spoke in riddles and poetic fragments, believed to be the voice of Apollo. Her words, though cryptic, were taken as divine truth, shaping decisions that altered the course of history. The oracle's influence reached its zenith during the Persian Wars in the 5th century BCE. When the mighty Persian Empire threatened to invade Greece, the city-states turned to Delphi for guidance. The Pythia's prophecies were said to have inspired the Greeks to stand firm against overwhelming odds, leading to their eventual victory at battles like Marathon and Salamis. Similarly, decades later, Alexander the Great sought the oracle's blessing before launching his campaign to conquer the known world. Her cryptic response, "You are invincible, my son," was interpreted as a sign of divine favor, fueling his legendary ambition. But what caused the Pythia's trance-like state? Modern research suggests that geological gases such as ethylene may have seeped from the fissure beneath the temple, inducing visions and altered states of consciousness. These findings offer a fascinating intersection of science and spirituality, suggesting that the oracle's prophecies weren't just divine inspiration, they may have been shaped by the very earth beneath her feet. The oracle's reach extended far beyond the borders of Greece. Leaders from across the Mediterranean world, including the Romans and Etruscans, sought her counsel. Even foreign kings like Croesus of Lydia made pilgrimages to Delphi, offering lavish gifts in exchange for her wisdom. Her prophecies weren't just personal guidance, they were geopolitical tools shaping alliances, wars, and the rise and fall of empires. Delphi became more than a religious site. It was a cultural and political hub, a place where the threads of history were woven together. The temple complex housed treasuries filled with offerings from grateful supplicants, and the Pythia's words were recorded and studied by scholars for centuries. Her influence persisted long after the decline of the ancient world, inspiring poets, philosophers, and even modern thinkers who marvel at the intersection of faith, power, and the human desire to know the unknowable. The legacy of the Oracle of Delphi reminds us that divination wasn't just about predicting the future, it was about navigating the complexities of life with a sense of purpose and connection to something greater. As we move forward in our exploration, we'll see how these ancient practices evolved, adapting to new cultures and contexts, yet always reflecting humanity's eternal quest for meaning. As the Roman Empire rose to dominate the ancient world, so too did its unique approach to divination. Unlike the mystical trances of the Oracle of Delphi, Roman practices were deeply rooted in observation and ritual, blending the sacred with the practical. At the heart of Roman divination were two key practices, augury and haruspicy. Augurs, the priests tasked with interpreting the will of the gods, would study the flight patterns of birds, their calls, and even the direction of their movements. Every flutter of wings or sudden change in direction was believed to carry divine significance, offering guidance on matters of state, war, and personal fortune. Haruspicy, on the other hand, involved the examination of animal entrails, particularly the livers of sacrificed sheep. This practice, borrowed from the Etruscans, was a meticulous art. The haruspex, or priest, would scrutinize the liver's shape, color, and texture, looking for abnormalities that could reveal the god's approval or disapproval. These rituals weren't mere superstition, they were woven into the very fabric of Roman governance. No significant decision, whether launching a military campaign, passing a law, or appointing a leader, was made without first consulting the gods through these methods. One of the most famous figures associated with Roman divination was Julius Caesar. As a young man, Caesar was appointed as an augur, a position that not only granted him religious authority but also political influence. He understood the power of divination to shape public perception and used it to legitimize his rule. For instance, before crossing the Rubicon, a moment that would plunge Rome into civil war, Caesar reportedly consulted the omens. The act of interpreting these signs wasn't just about seeking divine approval. It was a calculated move to rally support and justify his actions as divinely ordained. But the influence of augury and haruspicy wasn't limitless. As the Roman Empire expanded, so did the diversity of beliefs within its borders. The rise of Christianity, with its rejection of pagan practices, marked a turning point. By the 4th century CE, Emperor Constantine's conversion to Christianity began to erode the prominence of these ancient rituals. Theodosius I later banned pagan practices altogether, including augury and haruspicy, signaling the end of an era. Temples were abandoned, and the sacred art of reading omens faded into obscurity. Yet, the story of Roman divination doesn't end with its decline. Instead, it transformed, adapting to new religious and cultural contexts. The early Christian Church, while officially opposed to divination, found ways to incorporate elements of these practices into its own traditions. For example, the interpretation of dreams, a practice with roots in ancient divination, became a way for Christians to seek divine guidance. Similarly, the use of relics and holy objects to predict or influence outcomes echoed the rituals of the past, albeit in a new form. What's remarkable about Roman divination is how it reflects the empire's pragmatic approach to spirituality. For the Romans, divination wasn't just about faith. It was a tool for maintaining order and legitimacy in a vast and complex society. The rituals of augury and haruspicy may have faded, but their legacy lives on in the ways humanity continues to seek meaning and guidance in the face of uncertainty. As we move forward, we'll explore how divination evolved beyond the ancient world, adapting to new beliefs and technologies while retaining its core purpose, to help us navigate the mysteries of existence. In the heart of ancient China, beneath the vast skies of the Shang dynasty, a practice emerged that would leave an indelible mark on history: the use of oracle bones. These weren't just ordinary bones, they were sacred tools believed to bridge the gap between the living and the divine. Kings and nobles would carve their deepest questions onto turtle shells or the shoulder blades of oxen, seeking answers from ancestors and gods. The process was both an art and a science. Once inscribed, the bones were heated until cracks formed, and priests would interpret these patterns as messages from the other world. The discovery of these oracle bones in the late 19th century was nothing short of revolutionary. Found in the ruins of Yin, the last capital of the Shang dynasty, they provided a rare glimpse into the lives and beliefs of one of China's earliest civilizations. What made these artifacts truly extraordinary were the inscriptions themselves, some of the oldest known examples of Chinese writing. These characters, etched with precision and care, recorded everything from royal decrees to weather predictions, offering a vivid snapshot of a society deeply connected to the spiritual realm. For the Shang rulers, oracle bones were more than just a divination tool. They were a way to legitimize their authority. By claiming to communicate directly with the gods, kings could justify their decisions, whether it was declaring war, planning a harvest, or resolving a dispute. The cracks on the bones weren't random, they were read as divine responses, guiding the fate of the kingdom. This practice wasn't just about seeking answers, it was about maintaining order and harmony in a world where the spiritual and physical were deeply intertwined. The influence of oracle bones extended far beyond the Shang dynasty. Over time, these practices evolved, giving rise to more sophisticated systems of divination, such as the I Ching or Book of Changes. While the I Ching relied on hexagrams rather than bones, its roots can be traced back to the same desire to understand the will of the heavens. The legacy of oracle bones is still felt today, not just in China but around the world, as a testament to humanity's enduring quest to decode the mysteries of existence. What's remarkable about oracle bones is how they reveal the universality of divination. Across cultures and millennia, people have sought to make sense of the unknown by interpreting signs from the natural world. Whether it was the cracks on a turtle shell or the flight of a bird, these practices reflect a shared human impulse to find meaning in the chaos of life. As we continue our journey through the history of divination, we'll see how these ancient methods laid the groundwork for later traditions, each one building on the wisdom of the past while adapting to the needs of the present. The story of Oracle Bones is more than just a chapter in history. It's a reminder of how deeply we are connected to the questions that have shaped us since the dawn of time. Emerging from the mists of ancient China, the I Ching, or Book of Changes, stands as one of the most profound and enduring works of divination ever created. Its origins trace back to the Zhou dynasty over 3,000 years ago, where it began as a collection of symbols and interpretations used to understand the natural order of the universe. At its core, the I Ching is built on the interplay of yin and yang, the dynamic balance of opposites that shapes all existence. This ancient text isn't just a tool for divination. It's a philosophical guide offering insights into the ebb and flow of life itself. The I Ching operates through a system of 64 hexagrams, each composed of 6 lines that can be either broken yin or unbroken yang. These hexagrams are generated through a process of casting coins or yarrow stalks, creating a unique combination that corresponds to a specific passage in the text. Each hexagram, along with its changing lines, offers guidance on navigating life's challenges, from personal dilemmas to moral crossroads. What makes the I Ching so remarkable is its adaptability. Its wisdom isn't prescriptive. Instead, it encourages reflection, inviting the seeker to interpret its messages in the context of their own life. One of the most famous admirers of the I Ching was Confucius, who reportedly said that if he could live another 50 years, he would dedicate them entirely to studying this text. For Confucius, the I Ching wasn't just a divination tool. It was a roadmap for ethical living, a way to align one's actions with the moral order of the universe. Centuries later, the Swiss psychologist Carl Jung found deep resonance in the I Ching's symbolic language, seeing it as a reflection of the collective unconscious. Jung's concept of synchronicity, the idea that meaningful coincidences are not random but connected, was heavily influenced by the I Ching's philosophy of interconnectedness. The enduring appeal of the I Ching lies in its timeless relevance. While it originated in a world vastly different from our own, its teachings continue to resonate with modern seekers. Today, people turn to the I Ching for guidance on everything from career decisions to personal growth, finding in its ancient wisdom a mirror for their own struggles and aspirations. Its hexagrams, though rooted in the distant past, speak to universal truths about change, balance, and the human condition. What sets the I Ching apart from other divination systems is its emphasis on transformation. Unlike static predictions, the I Ching views life as a series of ever-shifting patterns, reminding us that change is the only constant. This perspective invites us to embrace uncertainty, not as something to fear, but as an opportunity for growth. Whether you're facing a difficult decision or simply seeking clarity, the I Ching offers not just answers, but a deeper understanding of the forces that shape our lives. As we reflect on the legacy of the I Ching, we see how this ancient text bridges the gap between the mystical and the practical, the esoteric and the everyday. Its teachings remind us that the search for meaning is a universal journey, one that transcends time and culture. And as we move forward in our exploration of divination, we'll see how this quest for understanding continues to evolve, adapting to new contexts while remaining rooted in the wisdom of the past. In the frost-kissed lands of the ancient Norse, where the wind carried whispers of gods and giants, the runes held a power unlike any other tool of divination. These symbols, carved into stone, wood, or bone, were far more than an alphabet. They were a sacred language, a bridge between the mortal world and the divine. The runic system, known as the Futhark, was named after its first 6 letters: Fehu, Yoraz, Thurisaz, Ansaz, Raidho, and Kennaz. Each rune carried its own meaning, representing concepts like strength, protection, or transformation, and together they formed a tapestry of wisdom that could be used to unlock the mysteries of the unseen. The process of casting runes was as much an art as it was a spiritual practice. A rune master, or vitki, would often begin by meditating or offering a prayer to Odin, the god who, according to myth, hung himself from the world tree Yggdrasil for 9 days and nights to gain knowledge of the runes. The runes themselves were typically kept in a pouch, and when a question was posed, the vitki would cast them onto a cloth or a sacred surface. The way the runes fell, whether upright or reversed, clustered or scattered, provided clues to their interpretation. A single rune might offer a direct answer, while a spread of several runes could weave a more complex narrative, revealing hidden truths or foreshadowing future events. In the sagas of the Norse, runes were often depicted as tools of great power, capable of shaping destiny itself. One famous tale tells of Sigurd, the hero who slayed the dragon Fafnir. Before facing the beast, Sigurd consulted the runes carved into his sword, which warned him of the dangers ahead but also assured him of victory. In another story, the runes were used to heal, as when the goddess Freya taught the secrets of runic magic to a mortal woman, who then used them to save her dying husband. These stories highlight the dual nature of runes. They were both a source of knowledge and a means of influencing the world around them. The legacy of the runes didn't fade with the Viking Age. In modern times, they've experienced a remarkable resurgence, embraced by those drawn to their mystical allure and symbolic depth. Today, runes are used in spiritual practices, meditation, and even psychological exploration, offering a way to connect with ancient wisdom while addressing contemporary questions. Whether cast for personal guidance or studied as a form of historical linguistics, the runes continue to captivate, bridging the gap between past and present. What makes the runes so enduring is their ability to speak to universal themes: change, fate, and the search for meaning. They remind us that, even in an age of technology and science, the human desire to understand the unknown remains as strong as ever. As we continue our journey through the world of divination, we'll see how these ancient symbols, born of the Norse imagination, continue to inspire and guide those who seek their secrets. Across the vast and varied landscapes of Africa, divination has long been a cornerstone of spiritual and communal life. Unlike the centralized oracles of ancient Greece or the meticulous rituals of Mesopotamia, African divination practices are as diverse as the cultures that created them. From the intricate Ifa system of the Yoruba people to the bone-throwing rituals of the Zulu, these traditions reflect a deep connection to the land, the ancestors, and the unseen forces that shape existence. At the heart of these practices are the divinas, sangomas, babalawos, and other spiritual guides who serve not only as interpreters of the divine, but also as healers, counselors, and mediators within their communities. The Yoruba's Ifa system is one of the most complex and revered forms of divination in Africa. Rooted in a rich oral tradition, Ifa relies on a vast corpus of verses, proverbs, and stories, known as the Odu, which are consulted to provide guidance. A diviner, or babalawo, uses a set of palm nuts or a divination chain to cast patterns that correspond to specific verses. These verses, often poetic and layered with meaning, offer insights into personal dilemmas, communal conflicts, and even larger societal issues. What makes Ifa unique is its emphasis on balance and harmony, encouraging individuals to align their actions with the will of the Orishas, the spiritual forces that govern the world. In southern Africa, the Zulu people practice a form of divination known as bone throwing or ukabula. A sangoma, or traditional healer, casts a collection of bones, shells, and other objects onto a mat, interpreting their arrangement to reveal messages from the ancestors. These messages might address questions about health, relationships, or community disputes, offering solutions that often involve rituals, herbal remedies, or acts of reconciliation. For the Zulu, the ancestors are not distant figures but active participants in daily life, guiding and protecting their descendants. This belief in ancestral wisdom is a common thread across many African divination practices, reflecting a worldview where the past, present, and future are deeply interconnected. The role of the diviner in African societies is multifaceted. Beyond their spiritual duties, they are often called upon to resolve conflicts, heal illnesses, and even predict natural events like droughts or floods. In many ways, they serve as the custodians of cultural knowledge, preserving traditions and values that might otherwise be lost. This is particularly significant in the face of colonialism and globalization, which have threatened to erode indigenous practices. Yet, African divination has proven remarkably resilient, adapting to new realities while maintaining its core principles. Today, sangomas and babalawos continue to practice their craft, not only in rural villages but also in urban centers, where they blend traditional methods with modern tools to meet the needs of a changing world. The influence of African divination extends far beyond the continent itself. The transatlantic slave trade carried these traditions to the Americas, where they evolved into new forms like Santeria in Cuba, Candomblé in Brazil, and Vodou in Haiti. These diasporic practices, though shaped by different cultural contexts, retain the essence of African spirituality, emphasizing the connection to ancestors and the importance of divination in navigating life's challenges. In recent years, there has been a growing global interest in African spiritual practices, with people around the world turning to Ifa, sangoma rituals, and other forms of divination for guidance and healing. What makes African divination so compelling is its ability to address both the individual and the collective. Whether through the poetic verses of Ifa or the symbolic language of bone throwing, these practices remind us that life's challenges are not isolated events but part of a larger web of relationships with each other, with the ancestors, and with the natural world. As we continue our exploration of divination, we'll see how these ancient traditions, born of Africa's rich spiritual heritage, continue to inspire and guide people across the globe, bridging the gap between past and present, tradition and innovation. In the vast wilderness of North America, where the land stretches endlessly under open skies, Native American tribes have long practiced a sacred tradition known as the vision quest. This deeply personal and spiritual journey is not just a ritual, it's a profound act of seeking purpose, connection, and guidance from the unseen forces of the universe. At its core, the vision quest is about stepping away from the noise of everyday life and immersing oneself in the stillness of nature, where the boundaries between the physical and spiritual worlds blur. The process of a vision quest often begins with preparation, guided by a spiritual elder or mentor. The seeker, usually a young person transitioning into adulthood, undergoes purification rituals such as sweat lodge ceremonies, fasting, and prayer. These acts are meant to cleanse the body and mind, preparing the individual for the transformative experience ahead. Once ready, the seeker ventures into a remote area, often a mountain or forest, to spend days, sometimes even weeks, in solitude. Without food, water, or human contact, the seeker opens themselves to the whispers of the natural world, waiting for a vision or dream that will offer guidance, clarity, or direction. The visions received during these quests are deeply symbolic, often taking the form of animals, spirits, or natural elements. For example, an eagle might appear, symbolizing strength and vision, or a bear, representing courage and introspection. These symbols are not taken lightly. They are interpreted as messages from the divine, offering insights into the seeker's role within their community and their path in life. The vision becomes a personal map, guiding decisions, actions, and even leadership responsibilities. One of the most renowned visionaries in Native American history is Black Elk, a holy man of the Oglala Lakota tribe. As a young boy, Black Elk experienced a powerful vision during a quest that would shape the rest of his life and the destiny of his people. In his vision, he saw the sacred hoop of the world, the unity of all living things, and the interconnectedness of the spiritual and physical realms. This profound experience not only guided him as a spiritual leader, but also inspired his efforts to preserve Lakota traditions during a time of immense cultural upheaval. Black Elk's story is a testament to the enduring power of vision quests to transform individuals and communities. What makes the vision quest particularly meaningful is its focus on community well-being. While the experience is deeply personal, its impact ripples outward. The visions and insights gained are often shared with the tribe, offering wisdom that benefits the collective. This communal aspect underscores the belief that individual growth and spiritual connection are inextricably tied to the health and harmony of the group. Today, the tradition of the vision quest continues to resonate, not only within Native American communities but also among modern spiritual seekers from all walks of life. In a world that often feels disconnected and fast-paced, the vision quest offers a timeless reminder of the importance of stillness, introspection, and our connection to nature. Whether through traditional practices or contemporary adaptations, the quest for vision remains a powerful way to navigate life's uncertainties and find deeper meaning. As we reflect on the enduring legacy of the vision quest, we see how this ancient practice bridges the gap between the personal and the universal, the past and the present. It invites us to pause, listen, and trust in the wisdom that emerges when we step away from the noise and into the silence of the sacred. And as we continue our exploration of divination, we'll see how other cultures have sought similar connections, each in their own unique way, yet all rooted in the same timeless quest for understanding. In the shadowed halls of medieval Europe, where the light of reason flickered against the darkness of superstition, astrology and alchemy emerged as twin pillars of divination, blending the mystical with the practical. Astrologers, wielding celestial charts like maps of destiny, sought to decode the movements of the stars and planets, believing they held the key to understanding both the natural world and human fate. Kings and queens, eager for guidance in matters of war, politics, and personal fortune, turned to these celestial interpreters whose predictions could shape the course of history. The practice of astrology in the medieval world was both an art and a science. Astrologers meticulously calculated the positions of celestial bodies, using these alignments to craft horoscopes and predict events. A favorable alignment of Mars and Jupiter might signal a time for bold action, while the ominous presence of Saturn could warn of hardship or delay. These celestial charts were more than tools for divination, they were instruments of power. For example, during the 100 Years' War, both English and French rulers consulted astrologers to determine the most auspicious times for battle, believing the stars could tip the scales in their favor. Yet, astrology was only one thread in the intricate tapestry of medieval divination. Alongside it flourished alchemy, a practice that combined the pursuit of physical transformation with spiritual enlightenment. Alchemists sought not only to turn base metals like lead into gold, but also to uncover the secrets of immortality and the divine. Their laboratories, filled with bubbling flasks and cryptic symbols, were places of both experimentation and mysticism. The alchemical process itself was rich with metaphor, seen as a journey of purification and rebirth. The famous emblem of the Ouroboros, a serpent eating its own tail, symbolized the eternal cycle of death and renewal, a concept central to both alchemical and spiritual thought. One of the most enigmatic figures of this era was Nostradamus, the French seer whose cryptic prophecies continue to captivate and confound. Born in the 16th century, Nostradamus wrote a series of quatrains, 4-line verses, that seemed to predict everything from natural disasters to the rise of tyrants. His predictions, often veiled in symbolic language, have been interpreted in countless ways, with some claiming he foresaw events like the Great Fire of London or the rise of Napoleon. While skeptics dismiss his work as vague and open to interpretation, there's no denying the enduring fascination with his prophecies, which remain a testament to humanity's enduring desire to glimpse the future. What makes medieval astrology and alchemy so compelling is their dual focus on the material and the spiritual. Astrologers looked to the heavens for answers, while alchemists delved into the mysteries of the earth, but both sought to connect the mundane with the divine. These practices, though often dismissed today as pseudoscience, laid the groundwork for modern scientific inquiry. The meticulous record-keeping of astrologers contributed to the development of astronomy, while the experimental methods of alchemists paved the way for chemistry. As we reflect on the legacy of medieval divination, we see how these practices bridged the gap between the mystical and the rational, the ancient and the modern. They remind us that the search for knowledge is a journey that transcends time, drawing on both the wisdom of the past and the possibilities of the future. And as we move forward in our exploration of divination, we'll discover how these early attempts to understand the universe evolved into the scientific and spiritual practices that shape our world today. The tarot deck, with its intricate imagery and layered symbolism, is one of the most recognizable tools of divination today, but its origins might surprise you. Far from being created solely for mystical purposes, tarot cards began their journey in 15th century Italy as a card game called tarocchi. Played by nobles and commoners alike, these early decks featured beautifully illustrated cards depicting allegorical figures, animals, and scenes. It wasn't until centuries later that the tarot found its place as a tool for divination, evolving into a means of exploring the human psyche and the mysteries of existence. At the heart of the tarot are two key components, the major and minor arcana. The major arcana consists of 22 cards, each representing a profound archetype or life lesson. Cards like the Fool, the Lovers, and the Tower tell a story of transformation, guiding the seeker through stages of growth, challenge, and enlightenment. These images are universal, resonating across cultures and time periods because they reflect the shared experiences and emotions that define the human condition. The minor arcana, on the other hand, is divided into 4 suits: cups, pentacles, swords, and wands, each corresponding to an element and an aspect of life. Cups, linked to water, symbolize emotions and relationships. Pentacles, tied to earth, represent material wealth and stability. Swords, associated with air, signify intellect and conflict, and wands connected to fire reflect creativity and passion. Together, these 56 cards provide a nuanced framework for understanding the complexities of everyday life, offering insights that are as practical as they are profound. Reading tarot cards is both an art and a skill, requiring intuition as much as knowledge. A typical reading begins with the seeker shuffling the deck while focusing on a question or intention. The reader then lays out the cards in a specific pattern or spread, such as the classic 3-card past, present, future layout or the more intricate Celtic cross. Each card's position and its relationship to the others create a narrative, a story that the reader interprets to provide guidance or clarity. The beauty of tarot lies in its flexibility. A single card can hold multiple meanings depending on its context and the reader's intuition. One of the most iconic tarot decks is the Rider-Waite-Smith, designed in the early 20th century by artist Pamela Colman Smith under the guidance of mystic A. Waite. This deck, with its vivid illustrations and accessible symbolism, revolutionized tarot by making it more approachable for a broader audience. Its imagery, from the haunting death card to the serene high priestess, has become a cultural touchstone, influencing countless modern decks and interpretations. Over time, tarot has transcended its origins as a divination tool, becoming a popular medium for self-reflection and personal growth. Many people today turn to tarot not to predict the future but to gain insight into their own thoughts, feelings, and choices. The cards act as mirrors, reflecting back the seeker's inner world and encouraging them to explore their own narrative. Whether used in quiet meditation or shared among friends, tarot offers a unique way to engage with the timeless questions of who we are and where we're headed. As we move forward in our exploration of divination, we'll see how tarot's blend of artistry, symbolism, and intuition continues to inspire and guide people around the world, offering a bridge between the mystical and the deeply personal. Throughout history, dreams have been seen as more than just the mind's nightly wanderings. They've been regarded as windows into the divine, the subconscious, and the unknown. From the earliest civilizations to modern psychology, the belief that dreams carry messages has shaped cultures, religions, and even personal decisions. For many ancient societies, dreams were not random. They were sacred, a direct line of communication between the mortal and the spiritual realms. In ancient Egypt, dreams were considered powerful tools for divination, so much so that dream interpretation became a respected profession. Temples dedicated to Serapis, the god of dreams, served as centers for dream incubation, a practice where individuals would sleep in sacred spaces to receive prophetic visions. These dreamers believed that by aligning themselves with the divine, they could unlock answers to their most pressing questions. Priests, known as masters of the secret things, were skilled in decoding the symbolic language of dreams, interpreting them as guidance for everything from personal dilemmas to matters of state. One famous example is the story of Pharaoh Thutmose IV, who dreamt of the Sphinx promising him the throne if he cleared the sand from its body. He acted on this vision, and the dream became a cornerstone of his reign. The Greeks, too, held dreams in high regard. The Oracle of Delphi, for instance, was known for delivering prophecies through dreams. Pilgrims would travel to the sanctuary, purify themselves, and sleep in the temple, hoping to receive a vision. These dreams were often vivid and symbolic, requiring skilled interpreters to unravel their meanings. The Greeks even had a god of dreams, Morpheus, who shaped the visions of mortals, ensuring that each dream carried a message worth deciphering. But dreams weren't just the domain of the ancient world. Across the globe, indigenous cultures have long seen dreams as a bridge between the physical and spiritual realms. For the Iroquois, dreams were considered the language of the soul, revealing desires or warnings that needed to be addressed. Similarly, in Aboriginal Australian traditions, the concept of dream time connects the past, present, and future through stories and visions that guide both individual and communal life. In modern times, the interpretation of dreams has shifted from the sacred to the psychological. Pioneers like Sigmund Freud and Carl Jung explored dreams as reflections of the subconscious mind, uncovering hidden desires, fears, and unresolved conflicts. Jung, in particular, saw dreams as a way to tap into the collective unconscious, a shared reservoir of archetypes and symbols that transcend culture and time. While the tools of interpretation have changed, the underlying belief remains. Dreams are a source of insight, offering glimpses into the deeper layers of the self. What makes dreams so enduring is their universality. Whether seen as messages from the gods, the subconscious, or the soul, they have always held a profound fascination for humanity. Today, dream journals, apps, and even online communities allow people to explore their dreams, seeking patterns and meanings that resonate with their lives. The ancient practice of dream incubation has found new forms in guided meditations and retreats, where individuals seek clarity and inspiration through intentional dreaming. Dreams remind us that the search for meaning is not confined to waking life. They invite us to look inward, to listen to the whispers of our minds and the echoes of the past. As we continue to explore the world of divination, we'll see how this timeless practice of interpreting dreams connects us to the mysteries within and beyond ourselves, offering a unique lens through which to navigate the complexities of existence. In the quiet stillness of a dimly lit room, a figure leans over a bowl of water, their gaze fixed on the rippling surface. What begins as an ordinary reflection slowly transforms, revealing shapes, symbols, and scenes that seem to emerge from another realm. This is scrying, an ancient practice where diviners use reflective surfaces, water, mirrors, or even crystals to glimpse the unknown. For centuries, scrying has captivated those seeking to pierce the veil between the seen and the unseen, offering a window into the mysteries of the future, the subconscious, and the divine. The roots of scrying stretch back to ancient Egypt, where priests and seers used polished obsidian or bowls of water to communicate with the gods. These reflective surfaces were seen as portals, gateways through which the divine could speak. In medieval Europe, scrying took on new forms, with practitioners using crystal balls or mirrors made of black glass. These tools, often called specula, were believed to hold magical properties, allowing the scryer to access hidden knowledge. One of the most famous scryers in history was John Dee, a brilliant mathematician and astrologer who served as an advisor to Queen Elizabeth I. Dee used a crystal ball and a black obsidian mirror to communicate with angels, recording their messages in a coded language known as Enochian. His work, though controversial, left an indelible mark on the history of divination. But what makes scrying so compelling? For some, it's the idea that the reflective surface acts as a mirror for the subconscious, revealing thoughts, fears, and desires that lie beneath the surface of the mind. Psychologists have likened scrying to a form of active meditation, where the act of gazing into a reflective surface allows the mind to relax and access deeper layers of awareness. For others, scrying is a spiritual practice, a way to connect with higher powers or tap into the collective unconscious. The visions that emerge, whether they appear as fleeting shapes or vivid scenes, are often interpreted symbolically, offering insights that can guide the seeker's journey. One of the most fascinating aspects of scrying is its adaptability. While traditional methods involve water or crystal balls, modern scryers have embraced new tools, from polished stones to even digital screens. This evolution reflects the enduring appeal of scrying as a practice that bridges the ancient and the contemporary. Today, scrying remains a popular form of divination, embraced by those who seek clarity, inspiration, or a deeper connection to the unseen. Workshops, online communities, and even apps now make scrying accessible to a new generation of seekers, ensuring that this ancient art continues to thrive in the modern world. What sets scrying apart is its simplicity and universality. Unlike other forms of divination that require complex rituals or specialized knowledge, scrying is accessible to anyone willing to sit quietly and observe. It invites us to slow down, to look beyond the surface, and to trust in the power of our own intuition. Whether you're drawn to the mystical allure of crystal balls or the quiet reflection of a water bowl, scrying offers a unique way to explore the mysteries of existence, reminding us that sometimes the answers we seek are closer than we think. As we continue our journey through the world of divination, we'll see how scrying's blend of simplicity and profundity has made it a timeless practice, one that continues to inspire and guide those who dare to gaze into the unknown. In the heat of battle, where every decision could mean the difference between victory and defeat, leaders have often turned to divination for guidance. From the ancient world to the medieval era, the art of reading signs and omens played a crucial role in shaping military strategies, offering both practical insights and psychological reassurance. For armies and empires, divination wasn't just about predicting outcomes, it was about aligning with the will of the gods and inspiring confidence in the ranks. In ancient Rome, the role of the augur was indispensable. These priests, trained in the art of interpreting omens, were consulted before every major military campaign. The augur would observe the flight patterns of birds, their calls, and even their behavior, interpreting these signs as divine messages. A favorable omen could bolster morale and justify a commander's decision to engage, while an unfavorable one might delay or even cancel an entire campaign. One famous example comes from the Second Punic War, when the Roman general Publius Claudius Pulcher ignored the augur's warnings that the sacred chickens refused to eat, a bad omen. His subsequent defeat at the Battle of Drepana was seen as divine retribution, a cautionary tale of what happened when leaders disregarded the gods' will. The influence of divination extended beyond the battlefield. In medieval Europe, astrologers became key advisors to kings and military leaders. These celestial interpreters would cast horoscopes to determine the most auspicious times for launching campaigns or signing treaties. For instance, the English King Edward Roman IV relied heavily on astrological predictions during the Wars of the Roses, timing his movements to align with favorable planetary alignments. Similarly, the Holy Roman Emperor Charles V consulted astrologers before making strategic decisions, believing that the stars held the key to his empire's fate. But the role of divination in warfare wasn't just about practical guidance. It also had a profound psychological impact. For soldiers, knowing that their leaders had the backing of the gods or the alignment of the stars provided a sense of certainty in the chaos of war. It transformed uncertainty into purpose, fear into courage. Leaders, too, found reassurance in divination, using it to justify their decisions and project confidence to their troops. In a world where the stakes were life and death, divination offered a way to navigate the unknown with a sense of divine support. As warfare evolved, so too did the role of divination. The rise of modern military science, with its emphasis on strategy, logistics, and technology, gradually pushed divination to the margins, yet the fascination with predicting outcomes remains. Today, military analysts use advanced algorithms and data modeling to forecast battles, a modern echo of the ancient desire to see beyond the horizon. While the tools have changed, the underlying impulse to reduce uncertainty and gain an edge remains the same. Looking back, the use of divination in warfare reveals not just the strategies of ancient armies, but also the enduring human need for reassurance in the face of the unknown. From the flight of birds to the movements of planets, these practices remind us that, in times of crisis, we often seek something greater than ourselves to guide our way. As we continue to explore the history of divination, we'll see how this quest for understanding has shaped not only the battlefield but also the broader human experience. Divination and organized religion share a relationship as intricate and varied as the belief systems themselves. In some traditions, divination is woven seamlessly into the fabric of spiritual life, while in others, it's viewed with suspicion or outright condemnation. This tension reflects the broader struggle to define the boundaries between the sacred and the profane, the divine and the human. Take Christianity, for example. Across much of its history, the Church has denounced divination as a form of heresy, associating it with forbidden practices like witchcraft and sorcery. Biblical passages, such as those in Deuteronomy and Leviticus, explicitly warn against consulting mediums or interpreting omens, framing such acts as challenges to God's authority. Yet, even within this framework, divination-like practices have persisted. The casting of lots, for instance, was used by early Christians to select Matthias as an apostle, and some medieval mystics claimed to receive visions or prophetic insights through prayer and fasting. These practices, though not labeled as divination, served similar purposes, offering guidance in moments of uncertainty. In stark contrast, religions like Shinto embraced divination as a vital part of their spiritual practices. In Japan, Shinto priests often use divination to seek the will of the kami, the spirits or deities that inhabit the natural world. One common method is omikuji, where worshippers draw a random slip of paper from a box to receive a fortune or advice. These fortunes, ranging from great blessings to minor warnings, are believed to reflect the kami's guidance and are taken seriously, especially during important life events like weddings or business ventures. The integration of divination into Shinto rituals underscores its role as a bridge between the human and the divine, a way to align personal actions with spiritual harmony. Similarly, in Hinduism, divination plays a significant role in both personal and communal life. The Vedas, ancient Hindu scriptures, include detailed instructions for rituals like the Jyotisha or Vedic astrology, which is used to determine auspicious times for ceremonies, marriages, and other significant events. Priests, known as pundits, are often consulted to interpret astrological charts, ensuring that decisions align with cosmic order. This blend of divination and spirituality reflects a worldview where the material and the metaphysical are deeply intertwined. The tension between divination and religion isn't just a historical curiosity, it's a dynamic that continues to shape modern beliefs and practices. In some African diasporic religions, such as Vodou and Santeria, divination is central to connecting with ancestors and deities. Practitioners use tools like cowrie shells or tarot cards to interpret messages from the spirit world, blending ancient traditions with contemporary needs. These practices, though often misunderstood or misrepresented, highlight the resilience of divination as a means of seeking meaning and connection. At its core, the relationship between divination and religion reveals a universal human impulse, the desire to understand our place in the cosmos and to seek guidance from forces greater than ourselves. Whether embraced or rejected, divination remains a mirror for our deepest questions about fate, free will, and the divine. As we move forward, we'll explore how this tension between faith and divination continues to evolve, shaping the ways we navigate the mysteries of existence. The intersection of divination and science is a fascinating crossroads where the mystical meets the empirical. Long before the scientific method became the gold standard for understanding the world, early scientists were often deeply entwined with practices we now consider divination. Take Isaac Newton, for instance, a name synonymous with groundbreaking discoveries in physics and mathematics. Yet, Newton spent just as much time, if not more, immersed in alchemy and astrology. His notebooks are filled with cryptic symbols, recipes for the philosopher's stone, and detailed astrological charts. For Newton, these pursuits weren't separate from his scientific work. They were part of a unified quest to uncover the hidden laws governing the universe. This blending of science and divination wasn't unique to Newton. In ancient Mesopotamia, astronomers meticulously tracked the movements of celestial bodies, not just to predict the seasons but also to interpret omens. Their observations laid the foundation for modern astronomy, even as their interpretations of the stars' messages shaped the political and spiritual life of their society. Similarly, medieval alchemists, while seeking to transmute base metals into gold, discovered chemical processes and principles that would later form the basis of modern chemistry. In these early days, the line between science and divination was often blurred, with both pursuits driven by a shared curiosity about the unknown. But what about the psychological aspects of divination? Why do people continue to find meaning in practices like tarot readings, astrology, or scrying? One explanation lies in the placebo effect, a well-documented phenomenon where belief in a treatment can lead to real, measurable improvements in well-being. When someone consults a diviner, the act itself can provide a sense of clarity or reassurance, even if the guidance is open to interpretation. This isn't to say the insights are meaningless. Rather, the process can help individuals reframe their thoughts and make decisions with greater confidence. Another psychological factor at play is confirmation bias, the tendency to focus on information that supports our pre-existing beliefs while ignoring evidence to the contrary. When a tarot card or astrological reading aligns with our experiences, we're more likely to remember it and assign it significance. This doesn't diminish the value of divination. Instead, it highlights how deeply intertwined these practices are with the way our minds work. Divination, in many ways, mirrors the human need to find patterns and meaning, even in randomness. The influence of divination on scientific thought isn't just a relic of the past. Today, researchers study phenomena like intuition, precognition, and the placebo effect, exploring how these experiences shape human behavior and decision-making. For example, studies on intuition suggest that our subconscious minds can process vast amounts of information, leading to gut feelings that often prove surprisingly accurate. This research doesn't validate divination in a mystical sense, but it does acknowledge the complexity of human cognition and the ways in which we navigate uncertainty. As we delve deeper into the science of divination, we see how these ancient practices have not only influenced the development of modern disciplines, but also continue to spark curiosity about the mysteries of human intuition. Whether through the lens of psychology, neuroscience, or cultural history, the study of divination offers a unique perspective on our enduring quest to understand the unknown. This exploration reminds us that science and spirituality, far from being mutually exclusive, are two sides of the same coin, both driven by a profound desire to uncover the secrets of existence. And as we move forward, we'll see how this interplay between the rational and the mystical continues to shape our understanding of the world and our place within it. In today's fast-paced, technology-driven world, the ancient art of divination has found new life, adapting to the rhythms and tools of modern life. While the methods may have changed, the core desire to seek guidance and meaning remains as strong as ever. From tarot readings on Instagram to astrology apps that deliver daily horoscopes straight to your phone, divination has seamlessly woven itself into the fabric of contemporary culture. These modern practices are not just relics of the past, they're living traditions, evolving to meet the needs of a new generation. Tarot, once a niche practice confined to occult circles, has exploded in popularity thanks in part to social media. Platforms like Instagram and TikTok have become virtual gathering places for tarot enthusiasts, where readers share live sessions, tutorials, and personal insights. Modern tarot decks reflect this shift, featuring themes that resonate with today's audiences, decks inspired by pop culture, social justice movements, and even digital art. This blending of tradition and innovation has made tarot more accessible than ever, inviting people to explore its rich symbolism and timeless wisdom. Astrology, too, has undergone a renaissance with apps like CoStar and the Pattern offering personalized readings at the touch of a button. These platforms use algorithms to analyze birth charts, delivering insights tailored to individual users. It's a far cry from the painstaking calculations of medieval astrologers, yet the underlying principle remains the same: to find meaning in the movement of the stars. For many, astrology has become a tool for self-reflection, helping them navigate relationships, career choices, and personal growth in an increasingly complex world. Online psychic consultations have also transformed how people access divination. Gone are the days of traveling to a local psychic or medium. Now, seekers can connect with practitioners from around the globe via video calls or chat services. This digital shift has democratized divination, making it available to anyone with an internet connection. Modern psychics often blend traditional methods like palmistry or crystal readings with contemporary tools such as energy healing or intuitive coaching, creating a hybrid approach that resonates with today's audiences. What's striking about these modern adaptations is how they balance tradition with innovation. While the tools and formats may be new, the core essence of divination, its ability to provide clarity, comfort, and connection remains unchanged. Practitioners today honor ancient wisdom while embracing the possibilities of technology, ensuring that these age-old practices continue to thrive in a rapidly changing world. The enduring appeal of divination in the modern era speaks to something deeper, a universal need to find meaning in the midst of chaos. In a world that often feels overwhelming and unpredictable, divination offers a sense of grounding, a way to navigate uncertainty with purpose and intention. Whether through a tarot card, a horoscope, or a virtual consultation, these practices remind us that even in the digital age, the search for understanding is a deeply human journey. As we move forward, we'll explore how divination's adaptability continues to shape its role in society, bridging the gap between ancient wisdom and modern innovation. This ongoing evolution is a testament to its resilience and to the timeless questions it seeks to answer. Divination has endured for millennia not just as a spiritual practice but as a deeply human one. At its core, it speaks to something fundamental within us, a longing to make sense of the unpredictable, to find patterns in chaos, and to feel connected to something greater than ourselves. But why, in an age of science and reason, do we still turn to practices like tarot, astrology, or scrying? The answer lies in the psychology of belief, in the ways our minds seek meaning, control, and reassurance in the face of life's uncertainties. One of the most compelling theories is that divination fulfills our innate need for control. Life is full of variables we can't predict or influence: job losses, health scares, global crises. This lack of control can be deeply unsettling, leading to anxiety and stress. Divination offers a way to reclaim a sense of agency, even if that agency is symbolic. When we draw a tarot card or consult an astrological chart, we're not just seeking answers, we're engaging in a ritual that helps us feel more grounded and capable of navigating the unknown. Studies in psychology have shown that rituals, whether spiritual or secular, can reduce anxiety by creating a sense of order and predictability. Divination, in this sense, becomes a tool for emotional regulation, a way to soothe the mind and regain a sense of stability. Another key aspect is meaning-making. Humans are natural storytellers, wired to find narratives that explain the world around us. When faced with random or chaotic events, we instinctively look for connections and patterns. Divination taps into this tendency by offering a framework for interpreting life's ups and downs. A tarot reading, for example, doesn't just provide vague predictions. It tells a story, weaving together symbols and themes that resonate with the seeker's personal experiences. This narrative structure helps us make sense of complex situations, turning confusion into clarity and uncertainty into understanding. Research has also explored how divination can improve decision-making, particularly in situations where the stakes are high and the outcomes uncertain. A study published in the Journal of Cognitive Psychology found that individuals who engaged in divination-like practices before making decisions reported feeling more confident and less anxious about their choices. This isn't because divination predicts the future, but because it encourages reflection. By prompting us to consider different perspectives and possibilities, it helps us weigh our options more carefully and approach decisions with greater mindfulness. Beyond control and meaning, divination also fulfills a profound need for connection. In a world that can often feel isolating, these practices offer a way to connect to our intuition, to others, and to the universe itself. Whether it's through a shared reading with a friend, a consultation with a trusted psychic, or simply the act of meditating on a tarot card, divination creates moments of connection that remind us we're not alone in our struggles. What's fascinating is how these psychological benefits transcend cultural and historical boundaries. From ancient shamans to modern tarot readers, divination has always been about more than predicting the future. It's about navigating the human experience with a sense of purpose and connection. As we continue to explore the world of divination, we'll see how these timeless practices reflect our deepest desires and fears, offering a mirror to the ways we seek meaning in an ever-changing world. This psychological lens not only helps us understand why divination persists, but also highlights its relevance in our lives today. Whether you're a skeptic or a believer, the appeal of divination lies in its ability to address universal human needs that remain as vital now as they were thousands of years ago. From the eerie prophecies of Shakespeare's Three Witches in Macbeth to the mystical tarot readings in modern fantasy novels, divination has long captured the imagination of storytellers. In literature, it often serves as a powerful narrative tool, weaving threads of fate, mystery, and the supernatural into the fabric of the plot. Take the witches in Macbeth, for instance, whose cryptic predictions set the stage for the titular character's tragic descent into ambition and madness. Their chilling chant, double, double toil and trouble, not only foreshadows Macbeth's downfall but also embodies the timeless allure of divination as a harbinger of destiny. In more contemporary works, divination continues to play a central role, often reflecting societal anxieties or aspirations. J.K. Rowling's Harry Potter series, for example, features divination as a Hogwarts subject taught by the eccentric Professor Trelawney. While her predictions are often dismissed as vague or comically inaccurate, her pivotal prophecy about Harry and Voldemort underscores the profound impact divination can have on the course of events. Similarly, in Philip Pullman's His Dark Materials trilogy, the alethiometer, a golden compass that reveals truth, serves as both a divination tool and a symbol of humanity's quest for knowledge and meaning. Movies and television have also embraced divination, using it to add layers of intrigue and symbolism. In The Matrix, the Oracle's cryptic guidance to Neo blurs the line between prophecy and free will, challenging viewers to question the nature of destiny. Meanwhile, shows like Charmed and Supernatural feature witches and psychics who use tarot cards, crystal balls, and other divination methods to navigate supernatural threats. These portrayals often romanticize or sensationalize divination, turning it into a dramatic plot device that heightens tension and mystery. Video games, too, have incorporated divination in creative ways, blending ancient practices with cutting-edge technology. In The Witcher 3: Wild Hunt, players encounter characters who use scrying and prophecy to uncover hidden truths, adding depth to the game's rich narrative. Similarly, Dragon Age: Inquisition features tarot-inspired cards that represent the player's choices and relationships, merging divination with interactive storytelling. These examples show how divination can serve as both a gameplay mechanic and a thematic element, enriching the player's experience. But how do these portrayals influence real-world perceptions of divination? For many, pop culture serves as an introduction to practices like tarot, astrology, and scrying, sparking curiosity and inspiring exploration. However, these depictions often simplify or exaggerate the complexities of divination, leading to misconceptions. While some view it as a frivolous or superstitious pursuit, others are drawn to its symbolic richness and potential for self-reflection. What's fascinating is how pop culture both reflects and shapes our relationship with divination. By presenting it as a source of mystery, power, or insight, These stories tap into our collective fascination with the unknown. At the same time, they invite us to consider how divination continues to evolve, adapting to new contexts while retaining its timeless appeal. Whether through a novel, a film, or a video game, these portrayals remind us that the search for meaning is a universal theme, one that transcends time and medium. As we move forward, we'll see how this interplay between divination and popular culture influences not only how we perceive these practices, but also how we engage with them in our own lives. From the pages of a book to the pixels of a screen, divination remains a powerful lens through which we explore the mysteries of existence. In a world where divination has become more accessible than ever, the question of ethics takes center stage. Modern diviners, whether tarot readers, astrologers, or psychics, face a unique set of responsibilities, balancing the desire to help others with the need to avoid exploitation or manipulation. At its core, divination is a deeply personal and often vulnerable experience for the seeker, making ethical considerations not just important, but essential to the integrity of the practice. One of the most pressing ethical dilemmas is the responsibility to provide accurate and honest readings. For many, a divination session is a moment of seeking clarity or reassurance, and the diviner's words can carry significant weight. Misleading someone with overly optimistic or fear-inducing predictions isn't just unethical, it can have real-world consequences. Ethical diviners prioritize transparency, making it clear that readings are interpretive rather than definitive. They emphasize free will, reminding seekers that the future is not set in stone and that they hold the power to shape their own paths. Another challenge lies in the fine line between guidance and manipulation. A skilled diviner knows how to empower their clients, offering insights that encourage reflection and personal growth. However, there's a risk of crossing into manipulation, whether through coercion, dependency, or even financial exploitation. Ethical practitioners set clear boundaries, avoiding the temptation to make exaggerated claims or pressure clients into repeated sessions. They also respect the seeker's autonomy, ensuring that the focus remains on empowerment rather than control. Consider the case of a tarot reader who notices a client becoming overly reliant on daily readings. Instead of encouraging this dependency, the reader might suggest tools for self-reflection, such as journaling or meditation, to help the client develop their own intuition. This approach not only preserves the client's independence, but also reinforces the diviner's role as a guide rather than a crutch. Ethical divination also requires cultural sensitivity and respect. Many divination practices, such as tarot or astrology, have roots in specific cultures and traditions. Ethical practitioners take the time to educate themselves about these origins, avoiding appropriation or misrepresentation. They also acknowledge the limitations of their expertise, referring clients to other professionals when appropriate, whether that's a therapist, financial advisor, or medical expert. What's inspiring is how many modern diviners are embracing these ethical principles, creating codes of conduct and communities of accountability. Online platforms now feature reviews and testimonials, helping seekers identify practitioners who prioritize integrity. Workshops and training programs emphasize not just technical skills but also ethical considerations, ensuring that the next generation of diviners is equipped to navigate these challenges with care and respect. The importance of integrity in divination cannot be overstated. At its best, divination is a tool for connection, clarity, and empowerment, but without ethical guidelines, it risks becoming a source of confusion or harm. By prioritizing honesty, transparency, and respect, diviners can uphold the sacred trust placed in them, ensuring that this ancient practice continues to enrich lives in meaningful and ethical ways. As we continue to explore the evolving world of divination, we'll see how these ethical considerations shape its role in modern society, bridging the gap between tradition and trust in an ever-changing world. In today's interconnected world, the ancient art of divination has transcended borders, blending traditions and evolving into new forms that resonate across cultures. What began as localized practices like the oracle bones of ancient China or the Ifa system of the Yoruba people has now become a global phenomenon, thanks in large part to the internet. This digital age has not only made divination more accessible, but also sparked a fusion of traditions, creating hybrid practices that reflect the diversity of our modern world. Take tarot, for instance. Originally a European card game, tarot has been embraced by cultures worldwide, each adding its own unique flavor. In Japan, tarot decks inspired by anime and manga have gained popularity, blending traditional symbolism with contemporary art styles. Similarly, in Latin America, tarot readings often incorporate elements of local spiritual practices, such as Santeria or curanderismo, creating a rich tapestry of cultural exchange. This blending of traditions isn't just about aesthetics, it's a testament to the adaptability of divination, its ability to speak to universal themes while honoring local customs. The internet has played a pivotal role in this globalization. Platforms like YouTube and TikTok have become hubs for divination, where practitioners from different corners of the world share their knowledge and interpretations. Online communities offer spaces for seekers to connect, learn, and explore practices that might have once been out of reach. Apps like CoStar and Labyrinthos bring astrology and tarot to smartphones, making these ancient tools accessible to anyone with an internet connection. This digital democratization has not only expanded the reach of divination, but also sparked conversations about its cultural origins and ethical implications. But how do these global adaptations impact the authenticity of divination? Some argue that the blending of traditions risks diluting their cultural significance, turning sacred practices into trendy commodities. Others see it as a natural evolution, a way for divination to remain relevant in a rapidly changing world. What's undeniable is that this cultural exchange has enriched the practice, offering new perspectives and interpretations that keep it vibrant and dynamic. One striking example of this fusion is the rise of Witch Talk, a corner of TikTok where users share spells, rituals, and divination tips. Here, a teenager in New York might learn about the Ching from a practitioner in Beijing, while someone in Brazil shares their take on Norse runes. This global dialogue has created a melting pot of spiritual practices where ancient wisdom meets modern innovation. What makes this globalization so compelling is how it reflects a shared human desire to seek answers from the unknown. Whether through tarot cards, runes, or astrological charts, people across cultures are drawn to divination as a way to navigate life's uncertainties. This universal appeal transcends language, geography, and tradition, reminding us that, despite our differences, we're all searching for meaning in the same vast, mysterious universe. As we continue to explore the evolution of divination, we'll see how this blending of traditions not only preserves ancient wisdom, but also transforms it into something new, bridging the gap between the past and the present in ways that resonate with a global audience. As we stand on the brink of a new era, the future of divination is poised to evolve in ways that would have been unimaginable to the ancient practitioners who first gazed into the stars or cast their runes. The rapid advancement of technology, coupled with shifting cultural attitudes, is reshaping not only how we practice divination but also why we turn to it. What might this ancient art look like in the decades to come? And how will it continue to serve our timeless need for meaning and connection in an increasingly complex world? One of the most exciting developments is the rise of AI-driven divination tools. Imagine an app that uses machine learning to analyze your birth chart, tarot spread, or even your dreams, offering personalized insights based on vast databases of symbolic interpretations. These tools could combine the wisdom of ancient traditions with the precision of modern algorithms, creating a hybrid approach that's both deeply intuitive and highly accurate. For instance, an AI tarot reader might not only interpret the cards but also track patterns in your readings over time, helping you identify recurring themes or unresolved challenges in your life. While some purists might balk at the idea of machines interpreting the divine, others see it as a natural evolution, a way to make divination more accessible and adaptable to our fast-paced lives. Virtual reality is another frontier with the potential to revolutionize divination. Picture stepping into a fully immersive digital world where you can consult a virtual oracle, walk through a celestial map of your birth chart, or even participate in a simulated vision quest. These VR experiences could offer a level of engagement and personalization that traditional methods simply can't match, making divination more interactive and emotionally resonant. For younger generations who are already deeply connected to digital spaces, this could make ancient practices feel fresh and relevant, bridging the gap between the mystical and the technological. But the future of divination isn't just about flashy gadgets, it's also about how it adapts to address modern challenges. As climate change, social inequality, and global uncertainty continue to shape our world, divination could play a vital role in helping individuals and communities navigate these complex issues. For example, eco-conscious tarot decks are already emerging, featuring imagery and themes that highlight environmental stewardship and social justice. Similarly, astrology is being used to explore collective patterns and societal shifts, offering a lens through which we can better understand the interconnectedness of our actions and their impact on the world. This adaptability is a testament to divination's enduring relevance. Whether through AI, VR, or new symbolic frameworks, the core purpose remains the same: to help us make sense of the unknown and find our place within the larger tapestry of existence. And while the methods may change, the human desire to uncover the mysteries of life, to seek guidance, connection, and purpose remains as strong as ever. As we look to the future, it's clear that divination will continue to evolve, blending ancient wisdom with modern innovation. It will adapt to new technologies, address contemporary challenges, and find new ways to resonate with the human spirit. Yet, at its heart, it will always be a reflection of our deepest questions and aspirations, a timeless tool for navigating the complexities of existence, no matter how the world around us changes. This journey through the future of divination reminds us that, while the tools and methods may shift, the quest for understanding is a constant. It's a journey that connects us not only to the wisdom of the past but also to the possibilities of the future, offering a bridge between the mystical and the modern in an ever-changing world. For many, divination is more than just a practice, it's a deeply personal journey that can transform lives in unexpected ways. Take Sarah, for example, a graphic designer from Chicago who turned to tarot during a period of uncertainty in her career. Feeling stuck and unsure of her next steps, she decided to try a tarot reading on a friend's recommendation. The cards she drew, the Star, the Wheel of Fortune, and the Magician, spoke to her in ways she hadn't anticipated. It wasn't about predicting the future, she explains. It was like the cards gave me permission to trust myself, to take risks I'd been too scared to consider. Within months, Sarah had launched her own freelance business, a decision she credits to the clarity and confidence she gained from that reading. Then there's James, a college student from London who discovered astrology during a particularly turbulent year. Struggling with anxiety and self-doubt, he found solace in understanding his natal chart. Learning about my moon in Pisces and my rising sign in Cancer helped me make sense of why I felt so deeply affected by everything around me, he shares. It wasn't just about the stars, it was about understanding myself better. Astrology gave me a language to articulate emotions I didn't even know I had. For James, this newfound self-awareness became a tool for managing his mental health, helping him navigate challenges with greater resilience. On the other side of the world, in rural India, Priya, a mother of two, turned to an ancient form of divination known as Jyotish or Vedic astrology when her family faced a series of hardships. After consulting a local astrologer, she was advised to perform specific rituals and prayers during an auspicious planetary alignment. While initially skeptical, Priya decided to follow the guidance. Within weeks, things started to shift, she recalls. It wasn't just luck, it felt like the universe was responding to our efforts. For Priya, the experience reinforced her belief in the interconnectedness of actions and cosmic forces, offering her family a renewed sense of hope and direction. These stories, though unique, share a common thread: the profound emotional and spiritual impact of divination. For some, it's a source of empowerment, helping them navigate life's challenges with greater clarity and confidence. For others, it's a form of self-discovery, offering insights into their personalities, relationships, and life paths. And for many, it's a way to connect with something greater than themselves, whether that's the universe, the divine, or their own inner wisdom. What makes these experiences so powerful is their deeply personal nature. Divination isn't a one-size-fits-all solution. It's a mirror that reflects the individual's unique journey, challenges, and aspirations. Whether through tarot, astrology, or other forms of divination, these practices invite us to pause, reflect, and engage with the mysteries of existence in ways that feel meaningful and relevant to our lives. As we reflect on these personal stories, we're reminded that divination is more than a tool for predicting the future. It's a way to explore the present, to understand ourselves and our place in the world. And as we move forward, we'll see how this deeply human practice continues to evolve, offering new ways to find meaning, connection, and guidance in an ever-changing world. Divination often carries a heavy load of myths and misconceptions, some of which have persisted for centuries. One of the most common is the belief that divination is purely superstitious, a relic of a bygone era with no place in our modern, rational world. While it's true that divination has roots in ancient traditions, dismissing it as mere superstition overlooks its deeper purpose. At its core, divination isn't about blind faith or magical thinking. It's about exploring the human experience through symbolic language. Think of it as a mirror that reflects our thoughts, emotions, and aspirations, helping us see ourselves and our circumstances in new ways. Another widespread myth is that divination is synonymous with fortune-telling, a practice that claims to predict the future with absolute certainty. In reality, divination and fortune-telling are distinct. Fortune-telling often implies a fixed, unchangeable destiny, while divination is more about uncovering possibilities and insights. For example, a tarot reading doesn't tell you what will happen. It invites you to consider what could happen based on your current path. It's a tool for reflection, not a crystal ball. This distinction is crucial because it shifts the focus from passive prediction to active engagement with life's choices and challenges. Then there's the misconception that divination is inherently fraudulent, a practice designed to exploit the vulnerable. While it's true that unethical practitioners exist in any field, tarot readers, astrologers, and other diviners are often deeply committed to their craft. Many approach their work with integrity, using divination as a means to empower and support others. For instance, a skilled tarot reader might help a client uncover subconscious fears or hidden strengths, offering guidance that encourages personal growth rather than dependency. What's often overlooked is how divination can serve as a powerful tool for self-reflection. Take astrology, for example. While some dismiss it as vague or arbitrary, others find that their birth chart provides a framework for understanding their personality, relationships, and life patterns. It's not about blaming the stars for your problems. It's about using celestial symbolism as a lens to explore your inner world. Similarly, practices like scrying or rune casting can help individuals tap into their intuition, fostering a sense of clarity and connection that's deeply personal and meaningful. So, how can we approach divination with an open mind? Start by seeing it not as a way to escape reality, but as a tool to engage with it more deeply. Whether you're skeptical or curious, the key is to focus on the insights and reflections it offers, rather than expecting definitive answers. Divination, at its best, is a conversation, a dialogue between the seeker and the symbols, the conscious and the subconscious, the individual and the universe. By shedding light on these myths, we can appreciate divination for what it truly is. A timeless practice that invites us to explore the mysteries of existence with curiosity and intention. Whether you turn to tarot, astrology, or another form of divination, the journey is less about predicting the future and more about understanding the present, and, in doing so, finding your own path forward. As we bring this journey to a close, it's worth pausing to reflect on the incredible arc we've traced from the flickering fires of ancient shamans to the glowing screens of modern tarot apps. Divination, in all its forms, has been a constant companion to humanity, a thread weaving through the tapestry of our collective history. It has shaped empires, guided leaders, and offered solace to countless individuals seeking answers in times of uncertainty. But more than that, divination has been a mirror reflecting our deepest desires, fears, and questions about the nature of existence. Think about how far we've come. The oracle bones of ancient China, cracked and inscribed with the hopes of kings, now sit in museums, yet their echoes can be heard in the digital tarot readings of today. The celestial charts of Mesopotamian priests, painstakingly drawn to predict the fates of nations, have evolved into the personalized astrology apps that deliver daily horoscopes to millions. And the runes of the Norse, once cast by warriors seeking Odin's favor, now inspire modern seekers to explore their own paths with courage and curiosity. What's remarkable is how divination has adapted, not just surviving but thriving in an age of science and technology. It has found new forms, new audiences, and new purposes, yet its essence remains unchanged. At its heart, divination is about connection to the past, to the cosmos, and to ourselves. It's a way of acknowledging that, no matter how much we learn or how far we progress, there will always be mysteries beyond our understanding. And that's okay. In fact, it's part of what makes life so profoundly beautiful. Divination also reminds us of the power of storytelling, whether through the archetypes of the tarot, the symbols of the Ching, or the prophecies of the Oracle of Delphi. These practices invite us to see our lives as narratives rich with meaning and possibility. They encourage us to ask questions, to seek patterns, and to find our own place within the larger story of existence. In a world that often feels fragmented and chaotic, this sense of narrative can be profoundly grounding, offering clarity and purpose in moments of doubt. As we look to the future, it's clear that divination will continue to evolve, adapting to new technologies and cultural shifts, but its core purpose, to help us navigate the unknown, will remain. Whether you're drawn to the ancient wisdom of the runes, the poetic insights of the tarot, or the cosmic guidance of astrology, divination offers a way to engage with life's mysteries with curiosity and intention. To close, let's turn to the words of Carl Jung, who once said, "The meeting of two personalities is like the contact of two chemical substances. If there is any reaction, both are transformed." In many ways, divination is a meeting between the seeker and the symbols, the individual and the infinite. It's a process of transformation, not just of understanding but of growth. So, what does divination mean to you? Whether you're a seasoned practitioner or simply curious, I encourage you to explore its mysteries for yourself. Share your thoughts, your questions, and your experiences in the comments below. And if you've enjoyed this journey through the ancient art of divination, don't forget to subscribe for more explorations into the unknown. After all, the search for meaning is a journey we're all on together, and the best part is the story is